What's up, everybody? This is Chris Sarai bringing you another edition of the Car Concierge Show, the show that helps with the buying, selling, maintaining, and repairing of your vehicles. On today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about Trump and his tariffs and how it's still making the automotive industry look a little murky. And the main course of our show today is talking about the LA fires. We're going to talk about the aftermath as such, how it's going to affect the automotive industry, whereas it's going to be a lot of people who are going to need to purchase vehicles at this time, specifically those that lost cars in the LA fires, those who were scammed out of their vehicles as part of the LA fires. So it's one of those situations where it's a good and a bad thing for the automotive industry. And last but not least, we're going to talk about some celebrities that have gotten in on assisting people getting cars due to the LA fires. So let's jump right in. And of course, we're going to start off with a little Trump action. We're going to talk about Trump and what they're saying about the tariff situation as of such, because of course, we saw the tariffs as something and other people saw it as something else. So let's read the story. We'll talk about that, okay? So, of course, we're going to head over to Automotive News, our favorite place to get our automotive news. And the story reads, Trump deepens murkiness around global tariffs, timing, and scope. This is by Bloomberg News. This is from February 26th. That would be today. President Donald Trump on February 26th gave a series of apparently contradictory answers about his plans to enact tariffs on Canada and Mexico, as well as the European Union. Trump was asked during a cabinet meeting on February 26 whether he plans to move forward on imposing 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico on March 4th. Trump announced the levies earlier this month, but then subsequently agreed to a month-long delay after leaders from both countries agreed to stricter border control measures, but that delay is set to expire next week. Answered your question right there, but let's keep going. I'm not stopping the tariffs, Trump said before describing how he believed the U.S. had been victim to years of mistreatment by his neighbors. But Trump later said that the Mexico and Canada tariffs would be implemented on April 2nd. It wasn't clear if the president meant that he was giving the countries additional time or had conflated the Canada and Mexico tariffs with a separate program under development by the Commerce Department and U.S. Trade Representative that would impose so-called reciprocal tariffs on nations across the world. The president's comments on the timing of tariffs have at times confounded global markets, as he has spoken about several of his tariff plans at the same time in response to reporters' questions. Mexico's peso and Canada's dollar got a boost Wednesday after Trump's comments that appeared to indicate he was pushing back the tariff deadline on both countries' imports. Trump and other administration officials have previously given contradictory answers about whether the 25% Mexico and Canada tariffs would be on top of the so-called reciprocal tariffs, which are pegged to tariff and non-tariff barriers imposed on U.S. goods or incorporated into the program set to hit in April. The tariffs go on, not all of them, but a lot of them, Trump said of the April deadline. I think you're going to see something that's going to be amazing. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick interjected to say Canada and Mexico were given a 30-day reprieve to prove they were successfully stopping the flow of migrants and fentanyl into the U.S., and if they have, then Trump would give them a pause or he won't. It's going to be hard to satisfy, Trump added, suggesting again that the North American tariffs could hit next week. Trump was also asked later about if he had decided on a specific tariff for the European Union. The president said those duties would be 25%, but then launched into remarks about tariffs on automobiles and other topics. In addition to his Canada and Mexico tariff and worldwide reciprocal tariffs, Trump has previously promised sectorial tariffs on imports of lumber, automobiles, semiconductors, and drugs, among other goods. It again was not clear if Trump was referencing those tariffs, which he had previously said would be at the 25%, or an additional tax on EU goods. Trump did say he viewed the EU as a different kind of case from other situations because he viewed the group as having been formed in order to screw the United States. They've really taken advantage of us in a different way, Trump said. The White House did not immediately respond to a request to clarify the president's trade remarks. And that, my friends, is because it's kind of meant to be vague. I mean, I thought we already understood, and this is the way I took it, was that to some degree, these tariffs are not only a way for Trump and his administration to make America richer by getting these countries to pay back money that they've owed or money that we haven't been receiving, reciprocal of all the other things that we've been doing for them. So, and we also understood that these tariffs was a means to an end or a negotiating tactic so that he could get them to secure the borders and stop the flow of drugs, fentanyl, and immigrants into the country, because those were pretty much part of the mainstays of his, presidential platform. So he definitely had to concrete those things. And then, of course, he is being, I want to say, loose with his statements on, what he's going to do altogether. If they have been doing what he's asked, and obviously it looks like they have been, maybe he'll change the amounts on the tariffs. Maybe he won't do tariffs at all. But we have to understand that to some degree this is a negotiating tactic. We need these countries to understand that they have been getting over on us for a long time and that we are not going to stand for it anymore. And that is exactly what President Trump is doing with these tariffs. He understands that these countries, as much as we rely on getting certain things from them, they rely on us getting those things from them for their market, for them to make money off of us. And that is the biggest problem. We've been shelling out way too much money and not bringing in enough money. So that is the concrete nature of these tariffs and what he's trying to do, specifically to these countries that border us, to not only collect monies that we are owed, but to stop them from allowing things into our country that we don't need. It's pretty much that simple. It's a situation where we understand that, and of course, Trump has only been in office a month, and this, even whoever wrote this story, they were trying to be unbiased as much as they could, but you can see they had a little bias in them. But we understand that, you could take these statements out of context and word them a certain way and say that he's being murky, but he's just not saying straight up on what he wants to do because he doesn't have to. Why would he? Why give other countries the preparation to understand what's going to happen before you do it? Why? It's not necessary. Specifically about these tariffs and trying to get back what we're owed from these countries and to help them understand that we need to stop them from allowing illegal immigrants, drugs, all these type of things into our country. And so far, it has worked. And it has worked well. Over a little over a month this man has been in office, and the borders are much better. The flow of illegal drugs is much better. The world, as far as I can tell, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but the world seems a little bit better. I mean, I see that people are still saying that, oh, he hasn't fixed this and he hasn't fixed that, but he's only been in office for a month, yo. What you expect, bro? In a month, he's done so much. Look it up. You know it's true. And I understand that, still dealing with a lot of family members that don't like Trump. And, I've met Trump before out here in Pebble. Seemed like a great guy to me. And that's why I pretty much sit here and say all the great things about him that I can see. Now, if he does something bad or wrong, I'm going to report that too. I'm unbiased that way. But lately, and specific to certain situations when it comes to things like this, he's been doing a good job. And if you can show me that he's not been doing a good job, and, I'll listen. But I'm looking. All right, so let's keep it going. The main storyline of today's show is really about the LA fires. There's a lot of things that's going on since those fires, and specifically with the automotive industry. So many cars. I think over 6,000 cars were destroyed. And so that's 6,000 and so many people that are going to need vehicles. So how are they going to get these vehicles? Where they're going to get these vehicles from? These are the questions. So let's go check out a couple stories on how the LA fires are affecting the automotive industry here.
FinTalk and the fallout from the wildfires could impact our local auto market.
On your side's Christine Lazar is here with more. This is interesting, Christine.
Yeah, you know, we talk about the loss in terms of structures and homes, but as we saw, a lot of people had to abandon their vehicles, left them at their homes. A lot of people out at work couldn't get back, so we saw a lot of vehicles burn. And that's not just going to impact the people who own those vehicles. It could upend the entire market, which is not good news, but more fallout, I guess. Carfax estimates that as many as 6,300 vehicles were destroyed in the Palisades, Hearst, and Eaton fires. And that means that thousands of fire victims are now trying to replace those vehicles, which experts say could drive up the cost of cars in the SoCal area. Los Angeles is the second largest car market in the U.S. Nationwide, used car prices have fallen, and wintertime is historically a good time to buy. But Carfax predicts that increased demand could change that here locally. Wendy's has plans.
We're going to let her hold on to that story, you know what I'm saying? We don't really too much care about that. But what we want to talk about really is what the opening caveat was, and you know she was going to go into Wendy's. But that's what we're talking about, guys, is that you have to really look out for price gouging when it comes to buying vehicles out in the LA SoCal area after this LA fires. They understand that over 6,300 people are going to need vehicles, and in most cases, depending on how rich you are, how much money you have, you know, you're going to probably be in search of a used vehicle. So there's going to be a lot of situations where the cost for these used vehicles is just going to be astronomical because they understand that you're going to need it. And they're going to throw all kinds of weird fees and all. You just got to be very mindful about purchasing a car in these type of situations. That's why you should buy it from me. All right, let's read a story over at Automotive News about it real quickly. So, about 6,300 vehicles destroyed in LA fires add complexity to February retail prices out west. Wildfires that scorched parts of Southern California in January destroyed thousands of vehicles, according to a February 18th Carfax report. Up to 6,300 vehicles were lost in Los Angeles, Malibu, and Altadena, north of Pasadena, according to Carfax's estimate. The vehicle history and data provider said its scientists used a proprietary formula developed to determine a reliable approximation of the number of vehicles impacted. It focused on areas affected by the Palisades, Hearst, and Eaton fires. The situation led auto dealers in the LA region to close stores. One lost their home in the Palisades fire. Those fire-related vehicle losses appear to have contributed to February used vehicle retail price increases in California and other western states such as Washington, Oregon, Nevada, Hawaii, and Alaska, said Patrick Olson. Because even those states understand that, you know, people in California are going to assume that they can go and travel out of state to get them a car because it'll be a lot cheaper. So they'll raise their prices as well. These business people are intelligent that way. Let's face it, and to some degree it's price gouging, but then to some degree it's not. It just depends on where you are and, you know, Carfax pricing. But you have to, in these situations, use things like Carfax or, you know, Kelley Blue Book. These things are tools that you can use to establish the correct price and make sure you're not getting taken by buying a car. Kelley Blue Book tells you the average prices, if it's a good car, excellent car, bad car, all these type of things, which will give you a number to go off of when you're purchasing these vehicles, because you just can't be going out there willy-nilly buying these vehicles. And that's part of our pledge to you. If you are a subscriber or anybody who watches the show, you've watched it once, call us, email us, DM us over at Twisted Pup or any of the emails here on YouTube, whatever. Call us, because we will help you and we wouldn't charge you. We will help you pick out a car, pick out the best place to buy a car, you know, pick out the best warranties to get so you can keep that car running for a long time. This is what we do, and we love helping people out. So if that's what you're into, you're going to be looking for a car pretty soon. Our website should be up hopefully next week, and just give us a call. We're going to help you get you into a car. But let's keep going. The average retail price for pickups, for example, rose $400 in February in the West, Olsen said. Nationally, the average price of a pickup fell $350 in the month, he said. Not all of that is attributable to the wildfires, but prices go up in situations of reduced inventory and increased demand, both of which happened in Southern California, he told Automotive News. At least 29 people died in the wildfires, according to the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner. Fires also damaged houses and businesses and burned thousands of acres of land in the metropolitan LA and San Diego County. Other potential impacts on pricing. Some difficulty also exists in predicting where used vehicle retail prices will go in the near future, Olsen said. There are several reasons, he said. The Federal Reserve is again wary of higher inflation. It made no changes to its benchmark rate in January, something investors expected because U.S. inflation stayed above the Reserve's goal of 2%. There is the question of whether President Donald Trump's 25% tariff on imports from Mexico and Canada, which was postponed until March 4th, will be implemented or delayed again. Trump also said he intends to impose auto tariffs of around 25%, with more information on those to come April 2nd. Increased demand and buying activity as consumers spend tax refund dollars could influence prices too, Olsen said. All of those things make it tough to predict where pricing is going to go because it's going to make consumers unsettled, Olsen said. Even if they have a tax refund, they may be wary of spending that money and afraid that there's another shoe that's going to drop. And my friends, there always is another shoe that will drop. So, please, 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 please do your due diligence when you're doing the research before buying a car. And if you don't feel like doing it, call me, I'll do it for you. Because the automotive industry, of course, I always say the second most important industry next to the housing industry, is pertinent that you get the best bang for your buck. And what they're saying in these articles is that because of the LA fires, because of all kinds of situations, specifically out here in the West, they're going to try to get you for a little bit more money than you should be spending. So you have to use all of the great tools that you have at your disposal. Kelley Blue Book, Carfax, Edmunds, all these type of things can help you find out the correct price that you should be paying for a vehicle. And then just shop around. Because these cars are available, man. There are a lot of used vehicles around. I had to purchase a Highlander a couple months ago. I got super deal on it because I did my research and I knew some folks, because it's kind of what I do. But you have to stay on top of this. You have to understand that, and it's another thing that I want to touch on really quickly is that when you're buying these used cars, specifically if you're staying in LA and buying these used cars, please make sure that these cars are not cars that were in the fire area and was to some degree damaged by the fire and just fixed up to look good to sell to you. Okay? These cars are going to be dealing with smoke damage. These cars are going to be dealing with water damage from fire trucks trying to put out fires. And these cars are definitely salvageable. Excuse me. These cars are definitely salvageable. So a lot of these scammers and guys and backstreet mechanics will grab these cars. They'll do just enough to fix them up so they look good and they'll run good for a little while, and they'll sell them to you for top dollar with no warranty, and you'll be out of luck in a couple of months. So be very, very careful. Be very do a lot of research on the vehicles that you purchase. Do a lot of research on the people you're buying these vehicles from. Just make sure that you're doing everything in your power to make sure that you're not a person that's getting got when it comes to buying your new car because you lost it because of the LA fire. And make sure that you're not a person that's buying a car that was in the LA fires and just fixed up to look good for you. Okay? So, last but not least, we're going to talk about one of our favorite comedians, Cedric the Entertainer. He stepped out into the forefront of this whole getting people into new car situation because of the LA fires. So we're going to check out that story real quickly, and then I'm going to let y'all get up out of here.
Several automakers are doing what they can to help victims of last month's SoCal firestorms.
Fiat is joining forces with a well-known comedian. Our specialist Dave Kuhn shows you how they're working together to be SoCal strong.
The journey to full recovery from this year's Southern California wildfires will be a long one, but help from far and wide continues to pour in. Cedric the Entertainer, his own charitable foundation, and the Brotherhood Crusade teamed up to help Eaton fire victims with a basic need, getting around.
These things that we kind of take for granted a lot of times, and especially when you lost everything, you're like, how do I get from, point A to point B?
9 families who suffered huge losses getting free
It's really important to have somebody just to be there, just to listen.
We absolutely need to be focusing on
2-year leases of electric Fiats in a partnership with the car brand. Each applicant got careful consideration. Shane Liam and her family lost their house and everything in it.
We had to find a place to live, and then we had to furnish it. We've also had to deal with FEMA and the insurance company and Red Cross.
Those little trips will now be easier for these people trying to rebuild.
It's been about a month and a half since those devastating fires, and the road to recovery for so many
Hold
is going
on.
to be a
I
long
want to go
one.
back real quickly.
Devastating fires, and the road to recovery.
I want to go back real
Point A to
quickly.
point B.
9 families who suffered huge
I
losses
want to
getting
show
free
y'all
2-year
something real
leases
quick.
of
This is
electric Fiat
important.
in a partnership with the car brand. Each applicant got careful consideration. Shane Liam and her family lost their house and everything in it.
We had to find a place to live, and then we had to furnish it. We've also had to deal with FEMA and the insurance company and Red Cross.
Those little trips will now be easier for these people trying to rebuild.
It's been about a month and a half since those devastating fires, and the road to recovery for so many is going to be a long one. Well, some auto brands are leveraging their own stock and trade with their connections to celebrities and charitable organizations.
Unquestionably, somebody affected by the devastating wildfires that we've all just lived through.
Actor Orlando Bloom is a brand ambassador for his favorite car, Porsche, and he helped kick off an auction for a new Porsche 911 ST. Very special, very rare, and pretty much sold out. Porsche's North American arm stepped up and donated essentially the last one to help the American Red Cross.
And so when we saw all of the things that were happening, we thought, how can we support? How can we put something from the Porsche side into this whole thing?
That serious Porsche brought serious money.
Now $1 million will go to the Red Cross.
As for Cedric the Entertainer, he says he's not done helping yet.
And we still want to be able to give away a few more cars.
All right, shout out to Cedric Entertainer, giving away cars to all these women, because
It's really important to have somebody just to be there, just to listen.
We absolutely need to be focused.
Yeah, shout out to Cedric Entertainer, giving away these cars to all those in need people. My whole thing is, come on, man, you could have hooked up with an American brand car maker or a car that was nice, cause Fiat suck. I'm sorry, I am sorry. Fiats are horrible vehicles. I don't know. I'm fairly certain that nigga don't got no Fiat, but maybe he does. I highly doubt it. It really sounds like this Fiat company that wherever he is in LA or wherever this is had a whole bunch of red Fiats on their lot, and they was trying to get rid of them, so they did this, and they just gonna write them puppies off. That's probably what's gonna really happen. It just, I appreciate the gesture. I appreciate helping these people out. It's all a beautiful thing. For me, it's the wrong car to get it, people. Them cars break down left and right. They're always in the dealership getting something stupid fixed. So, shout out to Cedric the Entertainer. Everybody loves him except Cat Williams, probably right about now. He's always doing great things. He's always been a great guy, always been a great philanthropist and to help others. But Fiat suck, bro. That's just a horrible. Go to Dodge or Ford or something. Get these people I don't know, something from Ford or Dodge or something. This is some bull job, cuz Fiat, it's a raggedy car. It's not an American made car. it's hard to fix. It's hard to get parts to fix them. It's just a horrible choice. Now, Orlando Bloom, you know, putting $1 million in the Red Cross by selling a Porsche, that's some rich people shit. I can dig it, you know. You want to say you did something and all you did was do a commercial, but got a whole bunch of people to put in money to, you know, get a Porsche. I like a Porsche 911 too, if I could get one. So it sounds great. I love the idea. I'm so happy that they are spending time trying to put people who have lost so much as part of the LA fires back together, specifically when it comes to the automotive industry. They're definitely, people are going to definitely have a hard time getting vehicles at good pricing. Probably have to do a little traveling or just do a lot of research. Now, my company, Car Concierge Automotive, we do help you buy cars, and we have those cars delivered to you. So you could buy a car over in Tennessee and we'll get it out to California to you. So, and price won't change very much. So, all right, my friends, that's pretty much all we have for today. Just really wanted to touch on the LA fires, do a little story about my man Cedric, and
several automakers are doing what they can to help victims of last month's SoCal firestorms.
Fiat is joining forces with a well-known.
All right, my friends, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Please like, subscribe to the show. Hit me with some ideas. We're gonna come up with some better stuff going on. We're gonna do some car chases. We're gonna do some, you know, live PD reviews. So we got a lot of stuff coming in the near future. So stay tuned in. And I'm out. Peace.